cannon. They've given the mad bastard a cannon.
A grenade launcher. Well, I don't know who gave it to him, but I must say I'm inordinately happy about it.
A certain generation will hear the name Lewis Collins and simply smile. He was one of those actors who could genuinely make you believe that the words they spoke, the movements they made, and the tiny mannerisms in each scene were real. Not scripted, just authentically in the moment, no matter what you'd be watching them in. Let's take a look at some of the key moments that make Lewis Collins such a fondly remembered actor and one of the true professionals. If you read any interviews about Lewis Collins from fellow actors and friends, the common descriptives that keep coming back are fun, mischievous, warm-natured, and very hard-working. In an age where your social media numbers carry more weight than your CV, Lewis came from such an interesting background, where he began as a beautiful baby contest winner at the age of 2 and worked in hairdressing, delivery driving, and many manual jobs, in addition to joining various Merseyside bands, such as the Mojos in 1964. Born in Merseyside in 1946, his acting career really took off in the mid-70s when he appeared in TV shows such as Z-Cars, Crown Court and Rooms. Many of these rarities can be found on YouTube thanks to a great channel called lewiscollinsinfo. His first cinema film credit appears to be Confessions of a Driving Instructor, but before you get too excited, he's part of the rugby team playing on the field, so it's still very much Robin Asquith running that show. His big break was in the Cuckoo Waltz in 1975, got it here, where he played Gavin Rumsey, lodger of newspaper reporter Chris and his witty, irreverent wife Fliss. Even though Chris and Fliss had toddler twins to care for, newly single Gavin jumped at the chance to move in as their temporary lodger and proceeded to stay much longer, hence being the cuckoo in the nest. Bringing his luxury bachelor lifestyle to their very modest home, it made for a witty, funny ITV comedy that ran for several years. It was a little strange that Gavin kitted out his room with all the mod cons of the day and regularly brought very nice ladies back for a drink, Joanna Lumley included, yet Chris and Fliss continued to live in extremely basic conditions and never upgraded their living room deck chair furniture.
I kissed her once on the cheek.
There, you see? We are not compromising our system.
There's a great website called lewiscollins.info, and it's a huge amount of information, photographs, video links and trivia about Lewis. I read there that the Cuckoo Waltz is based on a true story, right down to Chris and Fliss's twins being based on the writer Geoffrey Lancashire's own twins. Daughter Sarah did more than okay for herself as an actress. You might know her from a variety of roles such as the iconic Raquel in Coronation Street and Happy Valley. The role that really made Lewis a star was that of William Bodie in The Professionals. I love this. Considering it made him a household name, it's yet another story of a twist of fate that changed the lives of all those involved. Originally played by Anthony Andrews, the character of Bodie was apparently recast after 3 days of filming, as the creator Brian Clements felt the chemistry between him and Martin Shaw just wasn't transferring to the screen. They were good friends in reality, but sometimes the magic just doesn't happen. Apparently when Lewis came in, it was a tough adjustment for everyone involved, plus Lewis was playing catch-up big time. But they proved that this was a winning combination and developed a kinship that stayed the distance.
Man just fell out of a 7-story window.
That's police business.
He jumped.
That's his business.
Somebody had slipped him a drug, him and half the staff there.
Well, that's
drug squad
drug
business.
squad business.
What are you two, some kind of music hall act?
Whatever we are, you made us.
Ta-da!
I've read they had a difficult relationship at times, but from what I gathered, they did develop a mutual respect and didn't have any particular issues with each other, remaining friendly years after the show finished. Obviously, there would have been different approaches to work, as is often the case on any production, and I believe that it became more challenging for them when the show became bigger, as there would have been more pressure, time constraints, not being allowed to do your stunts due to insurance implications, the list will go on. They were most likely too exhausted most of the time to think of anything else beyond work.
We need get out of the car and jump over the fence and roll over.
Yeah, guerrilla filming. I mean, you know, in those
Fantastic.
days, they didn't have the money.
And you did all that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
The chemistry between Lewis and Martin as CI5 criminal intelligence operatives William Bodie and Ray Doyle on screen is fantastic, and they coordinate beautifully in action scenes. They know how to read each other in tense moments, and they demonstrate perfect comic timing, such as Doyle helping Bodie when he discovers a little too late that his telephone has an explosive in it.
How many numbers did you dial?
How many do you think? 1.
Oh, well. You want me to do it?
Oh, no, I wouldn't dream of it, mate. Get the pictures, come on.
Oh, no. I've seen everything that's on locally anyway.
They convey high emotion and edge of your seat drama as you root for Bodie to save Doyle when he gets shot. This was a particularly emotive and sad episode, proving that cop shows aren't always about chasing around the bad guys.
You sweat it out, and you pour it back. Stay cool. Bodie.
Doyle.
Of course, much of it's dated as it was the 70s, and I often think when I'm watching an episode that many a story wouldn't work in today's world because we've got the technology to solve the task in hand immediately. Think about mobile phones and the internet being the obvious ones. But that's half the fun. A special mention must also go to brilliant Scottish actor Gordon Jackson, who plays their boss to perfection, and is probably the only person who could order that pair to do their duties without complaint.
Watch, listen, and learn. On Bodie, there are ways of asking people questions without removing their teeth. For one thing, it makes for clearer diction. Well, I'll see you both up at Fairgate. Knowing the way you two drive, you'll probably get there first.
When I find Cowley's physiotherapist, I'll tie his toes in a reef knot.
The acting's great, the stories are well written, and it may not be totally PC, but there are lots of cheeky clips that still make many of us smile each time we watch them, such as Pamela Stephenson as the nurse with the grenade down her front, saved by Bodie and gently dusted off afterwards. Apart from her screaming though, she never utters a word. The Professionals remains one of my favourite series to watch again and again, although I still find it difficult not to say Dodie and Boyle, so much so that we now refer to The Professionals by that name in my house when we're watching it. Who Dares Wins is a great British action film from 1982, where Lewis plays SAS Captain Peter Skellin. It's loosely based on the 1980 SAS Embassy siege, and Lewis does a great job portraying the character alongside icons such as Edward Woodward, Ingrid Pitt and Judy Davis. It's repeated quite frequently on the TV here in the UK, and I always make an effort to watch it. You can understand why this movie can be thought of as an audition for Bond, as Lewis captures the action movie mood perfectly, and the film was apparently the 6th highest grossing movie of that year in the UK. I've got the DVD here, but maybe it's best that I'm not a film critic, because there's a scene where Lewis is held hostage and he's permitted to go to the bathroom. While he's there, he uses a mirror and Morse code to reflect light out of the window to catch the attention of the crew outside. Now, what did I say when I was describing the part of the film that I'd got to when I was watching it one night? I said, oh, I'm at the part where he goes to the toilet and flashes out the window. Well, I was kinda right. It's said that this, coupled with The Professionals, caught the attention of the James Bond team, and he was asked to audition as a potential candidate to follow Roger Moore. Although many think he would have been a fantastic Bond, it was said that he was too aggressive for the role. I think they really did miss an opportunity. I've read a lot in the past that he trained for the SAS and considered it as a career option, and I read that on the IMDb. Now, it states that he passed the actual selection course for 23 SAS, one of the SAS 2 Territorial Army battalions, only to be turned away from the unit because of his celebrity status. In 1983, BBC One showed a musical spectacular starring Elaine Page, Lewis Collins, and a cast of musical stars including Eartha Kitt, Anne Reinking, and Frank Gorshin. It was repeated on BBC 4 recently for the first time in decades, and it is available on YouTube. It's like a time-travelling theatre song and dance hybrid, with a sweet story linking each section, and songs from the likes of Noel Coward and Cole Porter. Worth a watch to see Lewis singing, dancing, and clearly enjoying himself. What I find extra entertaining is a clip from Lewis and Elaine promoting the show on Breakfast TV, and from what I gather, Women magazine had sent Breakfast Time a sculptured cake. And put it this way, I don't think they'd get through to the final of the Bake Off. When Frank Boff, the presenter, refers to the icing as reinforced concrete, just look at Lewis's face.
On, and I must say thanks to Woman magazine who sent it to us. These sculptured cakes are all the rage these days, and although I suppose the pastry is, the icing is a little bit of necessity reinforced concrete in a sense, it's very, very edible, and I must say we discovered the cake inside is absolutely delicious. So we'll pass that round in a moment, and thank Elaine Page and Lewis Collins for being our guest this morning. A very good day to you.
In 1988, Lewis appeared with Michael Caine in the primetime Emmy-winning Thames television production of Jack the Ripper. Michael even broke his rule of avoiding television acting as the script was so good. It's a different landscape now, but apparently many Hollywood stars, like Jack Nicholson too, felt that TV was not for them and it was a medium to be avoided.
Michael Caine plays the inspector, which he says is such a good part it convinced him to break his ban on working for television.
With Abilene, this is the detective I play, who investigated Jack the Ripper. He got a lot of flack from all sides, from everybody, because people were trying to cover up for the guy who actually did it. But he was truly dedicated copper, and I really loved the guy. That's why I want to play him.
Michael and Lewis have great chemistry in this miniseries, and it's another example of top-class acting, and it feels as though they're ad-libbing and making each other laugh in some of the scenes, in addition to the high drama and the intense and very unsettling moments. This is when actors of this class produce real A-lister work, and Michael Caine and Lewis Collins together is gold.
And I got that bloody coach story again. And in the cab, he went through all 3 acts of Jekyll and Hyde. I'm deaf in one ear now.
Where is he?
Huh?
It's not mediums that make you deaf, George. Not what I heard, anyway.
He's in the muster room writing out a description of the coach that knocked him down.
Other notable roles in the 90s include Colonel Mustard in Cluedo, Daryl Digby in The Grimleys, and his last appearance in the early 2000s in The Bill as Dr. Peter Allen. As usual, he brought style and originality to each role, and it's a shame that he didn't appear to do any more television work after this time. I enjoyed Cluedo in particular, as they act out the story each week, followed by questions for each character in the studio, so watching actors ad-lib their answers adds another layer of enjoyment.
A question. In fact, Lorraine suggested you were a cad, Colonel Mustard. I think you're an absolute rogue. But what I'm most interested in is why did you stay behind in the library when everybody had left?
Well, as you so rightly say, I was now found out, and the game was up on the scam, so I decided to remove the technical equipment that I'd planted there.
Many actors also do voiceover work, and adverts have always been a part of their repertoire. Here in the UK, there was a very successful campaign for the AA focused on their 4th emergency service tagline, and Lewis did the very recognisable voiceover for it.
The AA is the biggest breakdown patrol force in Britain. So why aren't we number 1? The AA is twice as big as our nearest competitor, but we're not number 2. We deal with 13,000 calls for help a day, but we're not even number 3. In fact, the AA gets someone out of trouble every 8 seconds. We're proud to be number 4. To our members, we're the 4th emergency service.
Although it's not Lewis himself, Nissan released a series of very successful ads in the late 90s to promote the Almera GTI. Just like the Sweeney spoof they also released, it was an incredibly popular campaign and was clearly made as a homage to a show that remains popular to this day. I've still been known to say litter makes the car look good when driving down any particularly messy streets.
See the car? Almera GTI. Let's go! Cover me! Huh? Go faster. I'm doing nearly 30. Naughty boy. Turn left. Why? Litter. Makes the car look good. What time do you call this? Sorry, Gov. Traffic was murder. Never make professionals. Neither were they. The election, Almera.
When Life on Mars launched in 2006, it was a huge success and came as no surprise to learn that Sam Tyler's look was inspired by William Bodie from The Professionals. John Sim said that his goal was to tap into the cooler side of 70s fashion and wanted to aim for Bodie's modern, and I'm quoting, slightly rebellious style for the police of the time. It's also worth noting that his style works very well in modelling clay too.
It's Sam Tyler. Hello, Sam. How are you today? Oh dear, not very happy. Is it Gene Hunt?
It's well documented that Lewis is a bit of a giggler, and there are some fantastic clips of him trying to compose himself and get the work done on YouTube. One in particular is where he just needs to get through an apparently simple interview about the Navy, Army and Air Force Institute, the NAFI shops, and he just can't stop laughing.
The NAFI shop here in Winterbourne Gunner serves only a handful of people. As district manager,
He was guilty of many a blooper, and such classics include an incident with the living room deck chair in the Cuckoo Waltz, tearing his coat in Robin of Sherwood as he was performing a rather menacing scene, and slipping and sliding all over the place in The Professionals. It seems as though they kept quite a few of the latter in, as Bodie and Doyle don't seem averse to rolling into the odd wall on a mission to find their man.
as for you,
Jacket's cold.
He enjoyed singing and released music, much of which you'll find on YouTube, and had a very good singing voice. He was also a very well-established theatre actor and appeared in my home city of Glasgow in the acclaimed Citizens Theatre on many occasions. I wish I'd have seen him. He said it was the best theatre for young talent, and part of the opportunities there led him into teaching drama to children in different parts of the world, including groups of deaf children. It's inspiring how motivated he was to use his skills and training to help others. Now, before The Professionals, both he and Martin worked on an episode of The New Avengers, where Martin's character is Purdy's ex, not a particularly nice character, and Lewis plays a fellow baddie, if you like, and it's very entertaining to see them as wrong-uns. It's like The Professionals gone wrong. Brian Clements was the writer, so it would make sense that he'd have the combo of Lewis and Martin in his head for The Professionals down the line, as he knew that they interacted well together. Every once in a while, some memorabilia will come up for sale, especially the cars from the show. As time passes though and the cars get older, this becomes a rarer occurrence. And a few years ago, Bodie and Doyle's Ford Caprice came up for sale. Now, it was for the tidy sum of £230,000 for the pair. Is that a bargain? Apparently, Lewis had a converted ambulance early in his career that he used as a motorhome, and many friends and colleagues say that he was happy to host them for a drink and a blether. I wonder if this will ever come up for sale. As you can imagine, the memorabilia market for The Professionals is strong, and there's always DVDs, collectibles, and other interesting articles for sale. Now, as you know, I've still got my DVDs, and I've even kept some of the freebies that used to come with the newspapers back in the day. Did anyone used to get these and just keep them? I've not watched it for years, but I won't get rid of it. If you really love the production side of shows and behind the scenes information, check out the Twitter feed of this book, I know I should call it X, at CI5BDC. Now, it's the official account of the book by Bob Rocca with Julian Vogt. and it's a fascinating read. It tells you so much about the background of the show, from exact dates of filming, to who was involved, to what was happening where, the list goes on. This X account also's got great images, and I love that the detail is so deep. I've read about Lewis having toothache, 2 motorbikes conking out on shoots. It's very entertaining, and there's some amount of work that went into this book. Finally, I've read that although Lewis wrote an autobiography, the decision's been made to keep it within the family, specifically for his sons as a memento of their much-loved dad. I hope they know how much we appreciate the legacy he's left us, and that we'll never stop enjoying his work. So what's your favourite Lewis Collins role? I'd love if you shared it in the comments. And remember, we're a new channel, so if you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.